Well, we'll see if we can get it going this time. Guys, I hope hope we can get something going. We will try. I'm trying to see if I have to kill off the other program or whatever. I'm gonna try see if I can make this stable or whatever. You never know about this situation. I'm trying to do some editing here as to make sure I don't have two streams running at the same time. Or yeah, that one that one looks like it's been. That one says it's upcoming. Let's see. Let me see if I can delete that one. I'm going to delete that one and get that one out of here. Hopefully, yeah, that one will get off. And maybe this other one, maybe I can get other people coming in and we can see what we got going. I'm trying to do two things at the same time. Hey, Joy. Hey. Yeah, it has been a few weeks. I hope this video, do I look okay? It gave me I checked my speed and everything. It said fine the first time. And then the second time I came back on, it said it was unstable. So I've had to, oh, I look like me, huh? Okay, well, that's good. Glad to see you got your CDLs and everything. Are you keeping the same job? Or are you looking to switch jobs now? I mean, it's wild, wild world out there. You can probably get it all kinds of job offers now. Yeah, well, that's good. Always, shoot for the best there. Shoot for the best, and what's good for you and your family. And that not only don't only just look for the money, look for what the best situation will be, because sometimes the money may uh, intrigue you, but you may regret the hours and everything else that you have to put up with, and maybe being away from your family or something like that. So you got to be careful. Yeah, you'll probably have to get some driving time, and unfortunately, to get the driving time, sometimes it requires you to run like in a team or something. Uh, it did with FedEx. I mean, if we tried to put on somebody that had little or no experience, we had to get them approved by putting them with as a co-driver, and then after they were a co-driver, then they could go on as a single operator after about a 6 month probationary period, you might say. So you may be obligated to do that. I don't know. Or you might find somebody local that doesn't require all of that. It may not pay as good, but maybe would be a better situation for your family too. So you've got to weigh all of that, to see what's best for you and your family. I mean, don't just take the first job that's out there. I mean, you get out there and try to do your thing. Oh, you don't have the manual restriction. Okay, that's great. That's great. Yeah, if you can drive a manual truck and everything. Uh, hey, James, how are you? Yeah, it sure has. I hadn't seen you in a while, James. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Got a little bit of a cold this morning. A little bit of congestion. I was thinking about going up to my studio and doing this, but it is cold up there. So it's 25 degrees out, and I just didn't want to fight it. So I'm attempting to do it up here in my upstairs office where the signal's not quite as good, but it still gets it out there. How are you? Okay, well, that's great, James. Yeah, well, that's great. Well, and that cuts down on opportunity. I mean, I think if you're restricted just to automatics, you're cutting down on opportunity because I mean, you're you're going to have to just basically go to somebody's got all automatics, and that would be tough. I hate that they put that restriction on CDL license. I mean, I don't know when they started doing that, but I thought it was kind of a slap in the face. I really did. I thought that was a slap in the face to put a restriction of automatic on people. But I guess there must have been enough enough problems that they had to. All right, and so you did. Okay, well that's good. If you got out of Swift and went to Walmart, that was a big jump up, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean that's a good jump, James. I mean that Swift will indoctrinate people. Yeah, yeah. Swift will indoctrinate people, but that I wouldn't want to work a long period of time. I mean, I've seen some horror stories, and I've had some run-ins with Swift drivers too. I had one that wrecked one of my trucks. I had to file a claim against Swift, and I had another one that drove through some of our property and tore up some of our property up here. And so, yeah, I've had issues with Swift drivers personally, and it didn't always turn out good. Yeah, I would imagine Walmart is a ton better, a lot better wages, a lot better conditions. Uh, you know, I've seen a lot of Walmart drivers. I knew of a few, and they did real well for themselves. So Walmart's a good company to drive for, from what I understand. And I think most people that drive for them like it really good. They really do. So going from Swift, that's got to be a big step up. Yeah, yeah. Walmart does. Walmart has a great fleet. A big fleet, and I think that you know you did yourself a service by going to Walmart. I mean, some people like Walmart, some people don't. I mean, as far as a company, uh, I think it's a good company. United States needs more strong companies like Walmart. Now, I do. Walmart has, you know, I guess the one kick that a lot of people said that Walmart eroded a lot of small towns. Basically, when a Walmart came into town, the small businesses had to go out of business, and that's probably true in some description. Even in my own small town here of Cherryville, we have a Walmart, and uh, I can't say it directly ran some businesses out, but I would say it greatly affected businesses. But you got to be competitive, and that's the name of the world. I'm gonna take me a drink of my Sprite just so I can kind of clear my throat. gotta gotta lubricate this old throat here. Got a lot of miles on these vocal cords, and got an itchy nose this morning. That says something. They usually say somebody's coming. I don't know who's coming. I might be surprised, but uh, let me. I know this afternoon I'm going to be going to a concert. And I'm going to see the big twister, Chubby Checker, this afternoon. If anybody knows who that is, all the older guys know. But I'm going to be sitting. I'm going to a concert that's got the Platters and Chubby Checkers. Well, I'll say it's a version of the Platters because unfortunately all the Platters have passed on, the original Platters. Um, but I would imagine it's a good group that sings the Platter songs. But the original Chubby Checker, I mean, the one and only. I've seen him 2 times before, but the wife and I, we thought that'd be another good concert to see. We've seen him before, and he put on a good act. And gosh, he's 82 or 83 years old, but you know he puts on a good show. Yeah, we're gonna go see him. Yeah, it's fun. We went to one Friday night. We saw T.G. Shep. I'm T.G. Shepherd. T. Graham Brown. I always do that sometimes. T. Graham Brown. T.G. Shepherd's another one I like too. But T. Graham Brown, we saw him in concert in Shelby, and he put on one fantastic show. He is a heck of a good singer. If you ever get a chance to see him, he's really good and got a great voice. I mean, you see some of these older acts, and you can tell they're diminished capacities as far as being able to perform like they used to. But T. Graham Brown, he can still belt it out. He's still a great singer. Hey, Patrick, how are you? I see you in there. But yeah, good to see you too, James. All right, you take care, and you drive that Wally World truck and be safe out there. But I'm glad you were able to jump in here. But yeah, we saw a good concert, like I said, with T. Graham Brown, and he had some great musicians with him. He introduced them, and they were basically session musicians from Nashville, and they were really good. And a lot of them like to come to the Don Gibson Theater, which is in Shelby. Don Gibson being he was born and raised in Shelby, North Carolina, and they several years ago the city of Shelby and a lot of different people and everything put together and built it. Took an old theater. It used to be the State Theater, and remodeled it and added on to it and everything else, and made a nice venue to have events. And it only holds like 400 people in the entire auditorium. It basically it's like a school auditorium or smaller. It's like a small movie theater that a lot of us grew up with. They put nice seats in it, and nice, comfortable seats. Uh, Remodeled it and everything several years ago. And it is a great venue, very convenient, very comfortable, and the acoustics are really good. And you don't have to hear a band that blasts you out of there. They've got the sound where the sound is really good, and so you can hear somebody without them trying to crank it up to 12. And that's what you get in some of these venues where you can't hear anybody because they've got it cranked up so much. But this one it's intimate. It's a great place to go. We really love the Don Gibson Theater, and I really appreciate uh, that. And especially at my age, to be able to go somewhere convenient. I'm able to not have to worry about big crowds. I don't want to go to a big crowd. I'm going to some bigger ones. I'm going to Evans Auditorium in about a month or so. I'm going to go see Casey and the Sunshine Band. My wife and I, that's what we like to do. We like to go to some of these concerts. We go to about 6 or 7 a year, but we like to go to the ones that are convenient. This one with Chubby Checker this afternoon is up in Newton, North Carolina. I've seen several acts up there, and it's a nice venue too. They turned they call it the Newton Performing Arts Center now, and it's a former high school auditorium and everything with good acoustics and everything too, and that's where they have that. Well, Patrick, what are you doing? I see you're in here, and we got Joey. I hope everybody sticks around with a couple of the regulars I haven't seen yet, but hopefully they'll see that hopefully my signal good enough, guys. I can't tell on this end, of course. I hope my signal's good, my volume's good, my picture's good. Y'all let me know. Give me a thumbs up on that. Tell me if it's good or not. Hey, Walter, signal's good. Okay, well that's great. Last week I had troubles with it, and I had to wait and do one that afternoon when I went. Uh, I had to do one that afternoon because of the fact that I didn't have a good signal. I had to start a second one here just a little while ago because my original signal was not good. So I had to shut one down and start one again. Got on a little bit past 9 o'clock, but hopefully I'll stay online here and be able to converse with everybody without much problem. It is what it is with old Mikey here. I try my best and try to come up with today's subject or whatever. The weather's been crazy. This week we had snow down here, which is not usual for North Carolina, but we had some snow for 2 different days. We had snow. It's sort of it was a slow passing front or whatever going through it. First part of it came through, but it was real small. It wasn't anything heavy. It was light snow. It was pretty when it was falling, but it was great that it got out of here real quick. The next day, after the second day of snow, the next day or that afternoon, it basically had melted away, which is the way I like it. I don't care. I don't mind seeing it, but I don't want to see it disrupt the roads and anything like that. I would much rather just say, if it's going to snow a little bit and then get out of here. I'm sort of like the greeter at Walmart. Go get your damn stuff and get out of here. I had to cough there a second. Got myself tickled. Yeah, he's the legend, that's for sure. Yeah, I like Chubby Checker. Like I said, we have seen him twice. We've seen him 2 different times at the Don Gibson Theater, but he's got the Platters with him this time. And like I said, I know that that's not the original Platters. It's a group that's carrying on the Platters name, and but they'll be singing, and I would imagine there is a good group, or Chubby Checker wouldn't be aligning himself with them. And as Chubby gets older, or Chubby's got some age on him, I know he has to slow down a little bit. You can't twist for 2 hours up there, so I would imagine he's trimmed down his show a little bit from what it used to be. But he does a good job, and so we thought that would be an entertaining afternoon. So that's what we're going to do. I think it's at 7 o'clock tonight. I would have liked if they had actually. They put on 2 shows today. They had a matinee and then they had one at 7. I couldn't get the matinee. I couldn't get the earlier one, so I'm having to get the one at 7, which is fine. I don't drive long distances at night as much as I used to. As we get older, these old eyes get night blindness a little bit. I don't have it real bad, but I have a touch of it, and I had to be cautious with that. I don't. If I'm on the interstate or something like that, it doesn't bother me. The worst part is when I'm in 2-way traffic on a small road that's unlit, and then you got oncoming traffic. That's when that affects me the worst. Of course, I've got some glasses I can wear that kind of shield some of that off, and I got I use my sun visor down. I put my sun visor down so it shields the upper part of the oncoming traffic lights, because you would be surprised what that will do to you. It's like a starburst coming at you, and sound. It looks like everybody's headlights are bright lights, even though I know they're not. But that's what night blindness will do to you. If anybody, I don't know if anybody else has that problem, but chime in here and tell me what your experiences are if you have that. But that's sort of the way it feels to me, and I'm cautious about it. I don't want to belabor the point, but I just don't. I don't have the need to go drive as much at night, and I used to be a preferred nighttime driver when I was driving a truck. I mean, if I had to run any routes, I'd much rather have ran the night runs, and I probably could still do that because you're so much higher up with a tractor trailer truck. You don't have oncoming traffic that's just hitting you straight on. And when I drive at night, a lot of times I drive my pickup for the fact that it does set up a little bit higher and everything. So that's one thing I do. But I've come to the realization that if anything's worth doing, I can do it in the daytime. So that's generally what I do, and I don't get myself into situations that are tough. And if I do things local around here. I'm not going to go to Charlotte and some of these places at night where you're inundated with all kinds of traffic and congestion. I just don't like that anymore. I don't know about y'all guys, but I'm not one for crowds anymore. Now I will be subjecting myself to that when I go down to see KC and the Sunshine Band. But I think from what I've seen some of his live concerts online, and I think he puts on a great show. So I'll see. What's going on with y'all guys out there? I'm doing all the chatting here and everything. Fill me in on what's going on, what everybody's interested in today. I'll be glad to jump the conversation any direction if you want to. I'm trying to anyway. Like I said, I'm glad I'm able to come back upstairs and do one. This is my upstairs office. I'm glad I'm able to do that today instead of trying to do one from the cold studio I got up at the building. I mean, it's chilly up there. It was a while ago. It was 25 degrees here. I don't know what the temperature is now. I don't have any way of finding out right now, but it's probably still in the 20s here in Cherryville. What's the temperature where y'all guys are at? I mean, let me know. How cold is it up there in state of New York, Joey or James or whichever one's up there in New York? Let me know on that, and or just post some of the temperatures around the United States if you want to. And we'll see what's going on. Patrick, you can post something. Tell me what the temperature is where you're at. I always like to find that out. But I hope everybody's enjoying what's going on with our political scene. We're getting a lot of things done. A little over 4 weeks into the new administration, and he's kicking butt and taking names, isn't he? Or taking names and kicking butt, whichever way you like to say it. He's definitely trying to get rid of some waste and fraud and put some money back into the American taxpayers' pockets. And if we can do that and curb inflation and just get slow inflation down, I think the country will be doing good. We're going to have to give him a little time to see some reflection on things. 20 degrees in Wisconsin, Illinois border. Okay. Well, I'm glad I'm in North Carolina because we're a little bit warmer. It's tough, but my old nose is still itching. But we 22 degrees with Walter now. Okay, now Walter, you're you're up north too, aren't you? I keep forgetting. Aren't you in the Michigan area too? Or am I getting that wrong? I can't remember. I sometimes twit Michigan. Okay, I got that right. I wasn't too far off for Walter. Actually, I was right on the spot. I didn't give the town or anything. I don't remember the town, that's for sure. You can tell me the town if you want to. I had to get my Sprite in here, my diet Sprite, or sugar free, zero sugar. Now they don't say diet anymore. They say zero sugar, which is good. Good if you're a diabetic. But it's. I think it's. I don't want it to be too much of a rush with the administration, and it scare people. A lot of people are getting scared. Oh, Trump's cutting everything. No, he's not cutting everything. But to see one of the most disturbing things is what Biden did on this, sending that money to that Tracy Abrams in Atlanta. I mean, gosh, oh Mosey, that if that wasn't that was a joke. The lady the previous year had a income of $100, and then he gives her a $2 billion grant or whatever it was, uh, for having a, what is it, 401c, or I don't know what the nonprofit. Yeah. Now you know that she's going to spend that money right. She's going to spend it on being a political activist. I mean, that's all that was to filter her some money so she can be a stronger political activist. She needs not 1 cent. I hope they run that money down and stop it, because she doesn't need a penny. That lady is a crook. She is a crook to the nth degree. Has never been elected, but she keeps saying, I'm talking about the election denier. I mean, she thinks she's won everything, and she was denied the governorship and all everything else she's run for because she's a poor black lady. She's a crooked black lady, is what she is. Crooked. Oh, okay. Now, do you live outside of Grand Rapids, Walter? How far? I've had to yawn there a second. I do not miss going up north, uh, and I mean it's nice other times of the year, but I do not miss it. The people that bought my Napa store, they came from Michigan. There are a couple that came from Michigan. They wanted to get out of the north. They were tired of the cold weather. Oh, you're near Muskegon. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, like I was saying, the couple that bought my Napa store a couple of years ago, they were from from up near Detroit, and they wanted to get out of there. They said it was just terrible environment for them. They wanted to come south. They wanted a more friendly situation and a warm situation. Uh, Her husband, he uh, he was big into drag racing, and he's come down to the south, and he's able to do his drag racing on the weekends and piddle with that, and then they've got the store that they're they're still leasing my building out there. They kept the same building, and good couple. I like them. Uh, Tom and Melanie. I forget their last names. I That's how I try to be away from it now. But anyway, they're a nice couple, and they rent my Napa building, and I'm glad they came down from Michigan, and they're glad. They're liking North Carolina. It's sort of ironic. The day that they came down to look at it, several years ago, and it was one of our worst weeks. It was about this time of the year. Oh, and they thought it was beautiful. They said, "Oh, this is great weather." And we're saying, they were telling the guys from Napa, tell them, I actually said, "No, this is terrible weather." And they said, "Oh, this is great weather for Michigan." And so I guess it's you gain different perspectives when you're in different places like that. But we were disappointed that they came down that time of the year, and they were loving it. They said, "Oh, this is great weather." And we had told them, had you been here the week before, it was really nice. It was like 60 and 70 degrees, but they came down. It's sort of like what it is right now, and that was the difference. But I'm glad that things are shaping up in the political scene. Everybody seems to. Kash Patel has finally got approved. I think that's the last piece of the puzzle for Obama. Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah. Uh, we got a lot of auto salvage places down here in North Carolina with that. Just over in the Shelby area, there seems to be a hotbed of that. There's probably, oh gosh, 5 or 6 big auto salvage places, and we got some metal salvage places too. Some to take all of your junk metal and everything. So that's gotten to be a big industry down here, and it's sort of ironic. I was showing my wife. We saw this huge salvage yard. You kind of go the back road on going down to Grover, and I was showing. I said, "Look at here. Here's this huge auto salvage yard." I said, "But look over here on this side of the road, way off the road. You see this real nice, pretty uh, house way off on top of the hill." I said, "That's the guy that owns this." So he has his salvage yard across the road from him, but he's got his side of the road looks real pristine and clean and nice pastures and wooden fence, picket fence. I mean, the wooden fence going down to his house, paved road way off the road, but you can see it up on the hillside. It's sort of off there by itself. But that's what it takes sometimes. If you're going to make it, you you got some rough stuff and you got some good stuff. And this it's good that the guy could do as well as he did, and he's able to accomplish something. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of auto. I mean, that's a big business. Some recycling of that, and I'm wondering if there's not going to be some. I'm curious of what people are going to do with these hybrid and electric vehicles as they age. And I mean, you can't just salvage that the same way that you do the others because it's such a hazardous thing. I mean, that battery in these electric vehicles, boy, I mean, it's dangerous if it's handled wrong. So I don't know what the applica or the impl I don't know how they're going to salvage electric cars. I mean, that's going to be a whole new thing, I think, going forward. And everything is so proprietary. If you start stripping that stuff out, I don't know how you could, other than just a few body parts. I don't know what can be salvaged or changed or fixed or whatever. Uh, I've seen some crazy things with the electric vehicles. So I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I knew that. Well, I figured they did. I hope there's a way to recycle those things, Walter. I don't know. I would hope so because there's a lot of lithium that should be usable, still usable in those things, even after they've passed their life expectancy in the electric vehicle. It's because the way it's coupled together. I would imagine that it's not good, but I would imagine the resources of the raw material ought to be able to be recycled in some way. I don't know. I would imagine somebody has figured that out by now because there's going to be a lot of it. Whereas, I've got some old cars, like I've got a 31. Okay, that's a 93-year-old vehicle. I got a 93-year-old vehicle, and I drove it yesterday to a car show. You had to I had to clear my throat here, guys. I'm getting kind of stopped up. But anyway, what I'm getting at is I doubt that you're going to see 90-year-old electric vehicles out there. You might see 20-year-old. I don't know. I don't know if they'll last 20. But they look disposable to me as opposed to recyclable. Whereas a 31A model, I mean, I've got a 327 in it, automatic, nice rear end in it. It runs good. Like I said, I took it to a car show yesterday, and I run it around here casually. I don't run it. It's not a daily driver, but it's a fun drive, and people like to look at it and things like that. What's going to be in the future for these electric vehicles? I mean, I don't see people saying, "Oh gosh, that's so unique and so pretty." The unique and prettiness of these modern vehicles, I think, has no. I mean, think about it. Muscle cars and all the others, they got a style to them. They got a look to them. I mean, you think of GTO, you think of a certain way a GTA looks, or Mustang, but you don't think about any of the modern vehicles that are out there right now and say, gosh, that's the vehicle I want to drive 20 years from now or 30 years from now, or I'll restore one and keep it forever. You just don't think in those terms because they almost look too generic. I mean, you go out there and look at SUVs right now, and too many of them look alike. I mean, I've got a BMW X5, but you can go out and see a Lexus and an Audi and a lot of others that look very similar. I mean, they don't have that unique feel to them like we used to have years ago. I mean, a 57 Bel Air, oh man, that's a unique look that'll stay with us forever. 55, I love a 55 Chevy. I mean, the look of a 55 Chevy is just, it's got that unique, good look. But you can't tell me from 2000 up anything that looks so unique and so pretty anymore as a car. I just don't see it. Nothing jumps out at me and says, "Oh man, this is a car for decades. This is a car that will live out here forever, and people will always want to drive this car." I mean, I don't see it. I mean, I saw it with 57 Chevys and 64 GTO, even a 65 Plymouth Fury, different things like that. I mean, those kind of cars always they look great then, and they look great now. And I just don't. I mean, I can't even from the 90s up. I can't think of anything that really jumps out at me and says this car is going to be something that I'm going to want forever. Don't know. I have kept my son's 96. I bought it off of him, traded it around. He wanted to get a new vehicle, so I bought his Mustang off of him, and he had bought it new after he graduated college in 96. And after he got married and wanted to get something for a family, I bought it off of him and kept it, and I've got it so I can restore it because it still looks like a Mustang, and I like it. But other than that, it's the cars that we have out there right now. Nothing Does anything jump out at y'all that is so unique that you think that we'll like it 20 years from now? Of course, now I'm not going to be around to find out. So, I'm not going to live to be 100 to find out if we like these cars that we've got right now. My grandson may, but I hope he's around and enjoying things and doing things right. But that'll be for him to decide. Well, guys, I am going to quit. Go back downstairs with the wife. I'm gonna go listen to my church service. We do it online. I don't like to get out, especially when it's 25 degrees. So I'm gonna go down and listen to my church service, and I will see y'all next week. Y'all take care. I'm gonna go twist it tonight. See you around, guys.